Hey everybody, how are you? I hope you're having a wonderful day. It is a really nice day here in the Northeast. It was cloudy this morning with rain the past couple days, like lots of rain, which is good because we needed the rain. And this afternoon it might start raining, and it's probably going to rain all day tomorrow. But the sun is out right now, and I figured I had a window. It's a little bit breezy, so sorry about the noise. And a neighbor's using power tools next door, so it might be a little bit difficult to hear me. So there's two things I want to get done today. The first one is seed starting. Let's wait for the plane to go by. Still going by. Okay, so the first one is seed starting. I bought a whole bunch of seeds today after work, and I'd like to see if I can get them started. I'm going to start them in little containers like this, let them become seedlings, and then once they grow, we'll find places to plant them around the garden. And then the second thing I want to do is I'd like to see if I can start these dahlias. So these are, let's see, white perfection dahlias. These are white perfection dahlias. One of my neighbors is cleaning up their yard. And these are a bigger variety. So I have a nice place I think I want to put them in the front yard. Let's go check that out before we get started. Okay, so it's quieter up here, away from the power tools. Okay, so we're up by the front garden. So like I was saying, these are, and I'll show them, they are white perfection dahlias. They grow 36 to 48 inches tall, which means the blooms are going to be big. These, I'm not sure if they're dinner plate variety, but these blooms are going to be pretty big. And since they're going to grow tall, they're going to need to be supported somehow, somewhere and somehow. So that's why I thought, I'll turn you around so you can see. I thought that it would be really nice to put them here because we already have the fence. So if I can tuck them in here in the back, like over here, that's a weed, so we can get rid of those. But I figured if I tucked one in here, and then if I come over here and tucked one in maybe here, this gladiolus is gonna bloom, but then it's gonna come out. I'm not gonna keep it because it's getting old, so it's not as productive. So once it's done blooming, it'll come out, but that should be blooming soon. So it'll give more room, and again, that's a weed, so we'll get rid of that for coming from the neighbor's fence. It'll give it more room, and it'll be right up against the fence. In fact, I think I had one there before. If you see, there's a green twist tie on the fence. I think I had one there before. So the fence will act as and I don't want to say natural, but as an already ready-made barrier to use to prop up the dahlias. So these dahlias, the ones that grow tall, the taller varieties, they do need support. They get bigger, and their stems, I'll hold the box, their stems get really thick, and their stems are hollow. So if they don't have support, a couple things happen. If they don't have support, they grow funny, so they'll grow lopsided. So they'll start growing, instead of going up, some of the branches will grow up, but some will grow sideways, some will grow to the ground because they're heavy, and that's how they grow. And when you go to try to fix them, another plane going by every day, multiple times a day. And when you go to try to fix them, since their stems are so hollow, they break very easily. They're thick, but they're hollow. They're literally nothing in between. It's almost like a tube. So they break very easily. So it's important. You have to remember to stake them and give them support. Staking dahlias is my nemesis in the garden, and this year I'm gonna get it right. This year I'm gonna stake the dahlias that I put in my garden, especially the larger ones. The smaller varieties don't really need anything because they don't grow that big, so they don't need support. But the dinner plates and the larger varieties, anything that grows 24 feet or up, they're going to need some support. So this year, I'm going to make sure that I stake whatever dahlia I put in the garden. So actually, we might actually do that project first and then go to the back. Uh, um, and then hopefully my neighbor will be done with whatever they're doing back there with the power tools, and then we'll be able to talk. All right, so let me set up. Okay, so these are what the tubers look like while they're in their bag. These are going to eventually grow into this. So let's see if I can work it out with one hand. And I have to be careful because I don't want to break up any of the roots. This is the growth point here. So this one makes it a little bit easier. I bought these a couple weeks ago, so I'm sure it did some growing here. But this one makes it a little bit easier for you to know how to plant it, because obviously this is going to go out of the ground. So here it goes. So here's one. Now there's supposed to be two tubers in here, but I only see one. So there are two growth points. So I think I can divide this. Okay, so you see how there's a growth point here, and then there's a growth point here. I believe I can divide this because each growth point comes from the eye. So if I divide this, then both of them are going to start growing, and this is going to be the two tubers. So they're healthy, they're strong, they're not decaying or anything. They're solid. So I'm going to see if I can divide it, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so here is the first growth point. Here is the second growth point. They're a little bit close together. Now, full disclosure, I have never divided a dahlia before, but even if I get it wrong, I'll at least have one dahlia. So what I think I'm going to do, because these are two tubers attached to the first growth point, and then there's this one big fat one right here. Actually, two tubers, because they're two big fat ones. There's one here and one here. I don't know if you can see. This tuber and this tuber are attached to this smaller growth point. And then this tuber and this tuber, I don't think this is a tuber, but these two tubers are attached to the other growth points. Now, once I divide these, I can plant these in the ground. They're going to go with the growth point up over the ground. I'm only going to leave it sticking out a little bit because I don't want it to get caught in the elements, although I don't think it's going to get very cold. I also don't want it to get eaten by whatever's here, so I might throw a little pepper over it to deter squirrels and things like that. Now, these will, I'll put it up so you can see me. These will last in the ground for the season. For us, it's not recommended that we keep them in the ground because we have cold, wet winters. So I mean, there was one year that I did keep them in the ground just because I forgot one, and it came back the next year, but that was kind of a one-off, and it's not recommended. So what you can do is at the end of the season, you can actually pull these out and store them someplace cool and dark. Some people wrap them in newspaper, some people put them in perlite or something like that. You can store these and keep them, and then you can use them the next year. So I am going to see if I can cut these tubers. Hold on. All right, so okay, wish me luck, y'all. I'm going to start here. I'm going to start cutting right here. Now while I'm cutting, it's important that I cut and I maintain both growth points, the integrity of both growth points, because if one is broken the wrong way, it will not grow. Again, this is my first time doing it. Okay, so I've cut them. So this one has its growth point intact. This is the eye, so you can kind of see it. I don't know if you can see it here, but this over here, this is the eye. It's kind of hard to see. And then this one has its own growth point here. And this one you can't really see the eye, but this is the eye over here. So hopefully I've divided these properly. If I have not, I'll know in about 2 weeks when one's not growing. But I'm pretty sure I have because they both already have growth points. This makes it easy for you. Sometimes when you get them earlier in the season, you don't have all of this growth, so you really have to look carefully for the eye, and then you'll know how to divide them. Also, after the season's done, we're putting these in the ground, but these sometimes multiply. Oftentimes they'll multiply. So after the season's done, you can put them away, pack them up, and store them. Next season, when you take them out of storage, you can do the same thing. You can look for the eye. It probably will not have all of this growth. It will probably just have the eye down here, up here. You can look for the eye on each of the tubers. It might have, let's say, there's 2 tubers here. This one I don't think is any good, so I'm going to cut it off. But there's 2 tubers here. When I take this out, it might have 3 or 4, and there might be 2 or 3 different growth points, different eyes. So I'll be able to cut them in a way that each eye stays whole and stays with its own integrity, stays healthy, and then that's dividing. And now I'll have instead of having one potential dahlia, I'll have 2 or 3 potential dahlias. So that's how it goes. So let's see if we can get these in the ground. All right, this is the best view I could get, you guys. I'll see if I can turn the camera, but I'm gonna dig the hole right here. There. All right, here we go. All right, so I only need to dig the hole yay big because the tuber is only this big, so it doesn't need that much room. So I'm going to dig it a little bit deeper. You know when you have an idea in your head, and it seems simple in your head, and then you have to do it, and you wonder what you were thinking? Yeah, that's me right now. Okay, let's see if this tuber fits. It does. Okay, so let me show you the hole that I dug. Okay, there's the hole. So now we're going to see if we can fit the tuber in there. So I'm only going to put a little bit, oh gosh, I'll put a little bit of rose tone, just a little bit, it doesn't really need much, and a little bit of compost, and then I'll put my tuber in. So, I have a hole in it. I got a hole in it, right in the middle of the bag. Just a little bit of compost. Alright. I need my gloves so I can mix it in. And then I'm going to plant my tuber. And I'm going to backfill until it's completely covered. And a little bit of the tuber is sticking out, but that's okay. Most of it is covered, so we're good. All right. And here is the finished product. So sorry about my finger. There we go. So that's what it looks like when it's done. So let's do the other side. All right, so that wasn't quite as easy as I thought it would be, but we got it done. And let me show you where they are. So we managed to put one in here, and let's see if I can zoom. Okay, you can see the growth point right over there. All right, so that's going to be one, and I'll put a plant tag here. And then the other one is on the other side over here. So I planted it, and it's easier to see because it's got a larger growth point. And there it goes. So as it gets warmer, these will grow, and I'm going to be checking them all throughout the season. They're going to grow, and they're going to start to get taller. They're probably going to get taller than the fence. This area is pretty much full sun, so this is a perfect place to put dahlias because they need full sun. So it'll probably get taller than the fence, and I'm going to move all those weeds, and there's a rose growing next to it, so I'm going to have to trim it and keep it kind of in control. But I'll be able to use the fence on this side for this one, and on this side for this one to help support it. So that's it for the first project. Now let's do some seed starting. If my neighbor's not done in the back, we're gonna have to move things around, but we're gonna start some seeds and then we'll be done. So sit tight. Hey everybody, how are you? So it's a new day and I'm inside. Because of technical difficulties, I'm saying the entire second half of the video where I was supposed to be doing the seed starting is gone. I'm not sure. First, there were sound difficulties, so it looked like one of those old Japanese kung fu movies where my lips were moving, but then the sound would come 10 seconds later, and then all of a sudden it just cut off. So I'm not sure what happened, but unfortunately you guys didn't see the finished product. Well, you didn't see the actual process of planting the seeds. So I'm going to show you the finished product right now. So here we go. So here we have the finished product, and I was kind of surprised to see, it's a couple days later, I was kind of surprised to see that there's already growth in some of these. So I'm just going to take you through really quick what was planted in each of the containers. So I did a combination of Zinnia, and then I did some Zinnia, different types of Zinnia. Then I did some sunflowers. This is more Zinnia on the end. And then this is Linaria. I've never grown Linaria before. This one takes the longest to germinate. We'll go through that soon, in a little while. But this is a new one for me. So this one is Fruit Smoothie. And this is what it looks like. And the seed packet says 55 to 60 days to bloom, and these get kind of a little bit bigger. So I wanted to kind of focus on smaller zinnias because the big ones get really big and kind of hard to control. But this one I think I can work into the backyard garden. And then this one is Exquisite, and it's already got some growth in here, which I'm really excited to see. This is what they look like. And these are also 50 to 55 days to bloom and 30 to 36 inches. So they're going to be tall, but not that tall. Let's move down here to these guys. This one is Giant Flowered Mixed Colors. And it's already growing. It's only been a couple days. I had it on the windowsill in the basement, and I'm going to keep it there for a few days. This one is 65 to 70 days to bloom, and this is only 30 inches. So this one I'll be able to work into other mixed beds and maybe containers too. And then I did 2 of the pinwheel mixed colors. And there's a little bit of growth in here that you can see. But this is what it'll look like. And these are 40 to 50 days to bloom, and these are 12 inches. So these are the ones that I'm most excited about because these are going to be the nice small ones. And I can work the small ones into just about anything. Containers, mixed containers, mixed flower beds and different areas. So I'm really excited about that one, and that's why I did two of them. I might do some more. And then here are the sunflower. I did two varieties of sunflower, and I don't see any growth in this one or this one. I don't see any growth in these yet, but these take a little bit longer. And the first one is Sunspot, and it 60 to 65 days to bloom, and it gets to 18 inches, and that's pretty standard for sunflower. Sunflowers can get much taller than that. And then this one is Teddy Bear, which is really pretty. I really love this one. And Teddy Bear is 70 to 75 days to bloom and 24 inches. So those should be pretty. And the last one is Linaria. So like I said, I've never planted Linaria before. It has sprouted a little bit, which is kind of exciting. So Linaria is new to me, and this is what she looks like. So she's really pretty. It kind of reminds me of a delphinium or something like that. And this one gets, let's hold it properly. Let's see. 6 to 9 inches, 7 to 14 days germination, 40 to 56 days to harvest. Okay, so it won't be that long. It'll be probably midsummer before I can harvest her, and the blooms are 2 inches. So this one I'm kind of excited about because it's my first time planting, and I love these colors. These colors are going to look really pretty in the garden. So that's the seed starting. So as soon as these are a little bit bigger, I'm going to put them outside. I'm not going to leave them on the windowsill for too long because I don't want to forget about them. So I'm going to put them outside. I'm going to work them into beds. We're going to start watering every day or every other day. So they'll get water pretty often. And then eventually when they're big enough, I'll put them into the landscape. So that was it. I wish you had seen the actual product. If we do seed starting again, I will definitely take a video, and hopefully it works better next time. Anyway, thanks everybody. See you soon. Hope you have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.